Hey, welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you're doing well. Today I thought we would talk about the newest MB&F that Max Boozer released called the MB&F FlyingT. It's the first ladies watch that they have created in the 14 years of the history of the brand, and I thought we would, give you our thoughts and talk about, the inspiration behind it, the design elements, and if I think it was a good move. Before we get into that, I wanted to remind you all that we are doing a watch giveaway. If you haven't seen our video on that, I'll put a link in the description. It's very simple. All you have to do is follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube. You'll comment in that video, and then we'll be doing a drawing at the beginning of next month. I'll put a link in the description so you can see all the details. It's very simple to enter. The watch that we're giving away is a Swatch System 51. Completely new in box, got all the tags as well as the plastic that's on the dial and the back of the watch. We've always said that Swatch is one of our favorite brands, and we want to share that with our subscribers. So go ahead and enter the watch giveaway. So MB&F released this week the first ladies watch called the LM FlyingT. It's part of their Legacy Machine collection, which means it's taking 18th and 19th century, 17th and 18th century watchmaking and giving it a modern interpretation. Like I said, it's the first women's watch that MB&F has released in the 14 years of its history. And Max has done a bunch of interviews explaining this watch and kind of why he decided to go and create a ladies watch. And he said he wanted to kind of push himself out of his comfort zone, and he doesn't know anything about what women like in watches, so it was a perfect opportunity for him to try and explore and create something very, very unique. So the inspiration behind it, he really wanted to give the watch the qualities of the women that made the greatest impact in his life and really capture those within the watch. In the interviews that I've watched him give, he's mentioned his mother, his wife, and his daughter as being the women that really had the biggest impact on his life, so really encapsulated them within this watch. The case kind of resembles that. They have really great curves to the lugs and the case and the crystal. The crystal is actually curved on both sides. So on the top, it's got the famous MB&F curved top crystal so that he can elevate the movement in order to show you what is actually beating within the watch. But on the other side, it's also curved where the rotor is, and you can see a beautiful sun on that bottom side. The case is made out of 18 karat white gold, and it measures about 38.5 millimeters. What was really cool about this watch is that Max said that he wanted this to not be seen as a unisex watch. He wanted to make sure that it was considered a woman's watch, which really, from a business point of view, and he said this in interviews, from a business point of view, isn't the greatest, because then you're kind of taking out 50% of the market in a way by not catering to men. However, it's very bold of him to say this is supposed to be a woman's watch. It's only going to be worn by women, or perhaps men who like this watch. The dial is very interesting. So when you say dial, it's normally where the time is, but for this watch, it's not actually how it's laid out. There's three versions. There is a dial that's a lacquer black. Then there's a dial that has pavee diamonds. And then there's a dial with baguette diamonds. But that's the dial itself. The actual dial where the time is told is at 7 o'clock, and it's at I think it's about a 50-degree angle, and it's supposed to only be seen, and only the wearer is supposed to be able to see the time on the watch, which I think is really cool because it creates an intimate connection between the women and the watch. The movement, as always, MB&F has gone above and beyond with the way in which they create these kinetic sculptures, kinetic pieces of art. It is a flying tourbillon that is above the dial. He has removed as many bridges as he possibly could, which means the movement is completely vertical within the watch. In order to make that possible, like I said, he removed as many bridges as possible, which isn't an easy feat because the bridges are what really connects everything together. Like I said, the dial is at 7 o'clock, and it's only supposed to be seen by the reader. And when you turn the watch over, you see this beautiful rotor, which is a red sun with the sun rays kind of going out towards the edge of the dial, or edge of the watch. And it has 100 hours of power reserve, which is an amazing amount of time. So all in all, this is like I said, a real kinetic piece of art that is absolutely beautiful. There's 3 versions, like I said. The lacquer dial goes for 108 Swiss francs, 108,000 Swiss francs. The pavee diamonds goes for 135,000 Swiss francs, and the baguette diamond dial is 298,000 Swiss francs. So my thoughts about this watch: I think it's amazing that MB&F is getting into women's watches. I think it's a very unique and bold move by him, because up until this point he's only sold to men. So 14 years of selling to men, didn't really know what women like, but has moved into that space. I also like the fact that he's catering to women to try and get more women watch wearers into this hobby. Obviously, you know, at these price points, they probably are serious enthusiasts, but at the same time, I think if a woman sees this and sees what's possible in watches, it's a beautiful way to try and get them into it. I think the design is beautiful. I think the Flying Tourbillon is a movement masterpiece. And I know you're probably saying, I'm saying all this just because I really like MB&F, but it really is beautiful. And it, again, is a testament to what micro brands and independent watch companies can do, just if they're given the resources, time and energy, and have someone who's willing to put in the time and effort to grow a company like MB&F. I think, you know, from a life on the wrist point of view, obviously the story is beautiful. The fact that he's taking inspiration from the women in his life and displaying that in a watch is a beautiful thing. I'll tell you one thing, if I walked around and I saw a woman with a MB&F FlyingT on her wrist, I would be sold. I would do anything to date her. I would talk about watches with her all the time, just like I'm sure many of you would. So that's our thoughts about the FlyingT by MB&F. If you haven't already and you've made it this far in the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video if you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a nice rest of your day.